What's up, guys? So, if you guys don't know, I'm Shelby, registered ER nurse, investor, real estate investor, which is why I want to come up here today and talk. I've just had one of the shittiest, craziest weeks in my investing career, and I just kind of wanted to share it with you guys. So, some of you may know, but I am an out-of-state investor. So I live in California. I invest in Michigan right now. I just bought a single-family property in the beginning of the year, and it's good. It cash flows me $500 after everything is said and done, after insurance and mortgage is all paid for. It is kind of a Section 8 type property, but it's state-run instead of federally ran. And it's nice. It guarantees me a check. So I wanted to start getting into commercial real estate, and I wanted to because you simply just have more doors. It's valued differently than single family. For some of you who don't know, single family is anywhere from 1 to 4 units, and commercial is anywhere from 5 and up, right? So it's valued a little bit differently, and there's a little bit more room for things to kind of go wrong. Yes, it's more expensive, but for what I'm looking for, it's more of what I want to do. And anyways, so what happened was it's getting kind of hot in Michigan and everybody runs the AC. And so I started having my tenant hit me up about a flood. And the foundation is a slab foundation. So I had my handyman look at it and he goes, yeah, it's cold water pipe burst. I was like, shit, okay, all right. Well, let's have somebody come look at it. You know, ballpark, it's going to be anywhere from like $1,000 to $4,000, depending on how much of the concrete they're going to have to bust open, you know, how many hours that's going to take, what it's going to take to refill it. And so I had some leak investigators come out and they checked it out, said that it wasn't the plumbing system, which was great news, but it was the HVAC. So looked at it even more, and it seems like there was a blown out motor. Along with this, I have the tenant who has a couple kids. They're out in hot ass Michigan, and you know, they're blowing me up. And you know, meanwhile, I also have some other nursing things that are kind of going haywire, and you know, just the typical life of an entrepreneur, right? And so lo and behold, I ended up getting it fixed. It all just got fixed today. But this was like 2 weeks of just constant little nagging and poking and things like that. And, you know, I remember kind of going through some of these feelings of, am I just not doing enough? Do I have time enough to do? What am I doing? I've never done this before. Like all those feelings of kind of like anxiety provoking type feelings. And I always remembered that right before it gets good, right before everything gets really good, you start getting used to it. It gets hard. It gets kind of hard like it is right now. And so anyways, ended up fixing the AC and all that stuff. Everything should be good. It just got to pay the bills, which is fine. I already have reserves from that because again, this property cash flows. So that's not going to be a problem. But it just goes to show how much things can go wrong, and that you still have a job to do at the end of the day. You still have a purpose in what you want to do, and you just have to put one foot in front of the other. You know, just don't worry about the end of the marathon. Don't worry about that finish line. Just worry about the next quarter mile. I've said this time and time again, and I really say it to you all because I need to say it to myself. And, you know, that's kind of why I do content creation is primarily it's for myself, to remind myself that I have the strength and all the abilities to get through what I'm going through at all times, pretty much. But secondarily, I hope that it helps some of you out, especially if you guys are nurses and you feel stuck like I do, or I did. I still do from time to time, but it's getting a little bit better. It's getting my light that I'm able to shine out in the path in front of me is getting a little bit brighter with every day, every time I learn something, every new business venture, every time I talk to somebody new. And so if you kind of feel like you don't know where you're at, or you want to do something more, or you're just getting burnt out, I highly suggest that you start some kind of self-improvement, delayed gratification type discipline. You listen to podcasts like mine, or, you start reading books, or just start reaching out towards other people. There's plenty of accounts that will help you look for what you're looking for. It's kind of like the red car theory. If you haven't heard it before, it's essentially, I would ask you today, how many red cars did you see on the street? And you say, oh, I don't know. But if I ask you again tomorrow, and today I say, look out for as many red cars, and then I ask you tomorrow, you'll see all these red cars everywhere. So you'll find whatever you're looking for. And I know that for me, I'm looking for success. I'm looking for a deeper meaning and purpose in life. And I know that I'm going to get there eventually. I know that with self-improvement and me investing in that, both my time, money, and everything else that comes with it, that I will eventually get there. And it's just about having faith and patience and perseverance and getting through it. So anyways, I wanted to also talk about, that's why I'm getting into commercial real estate. So my plan is at the end of the year to get a 5 to 10, maybe even 15 unit property in Michigan and increase the value and bring it back to the bank and say, hey, I've created all this new NOI. I'd like to, take a loan against it and get the cash out so that I can further my investments and not have to pay any capital gains on it. Yeah, although, I'd just be paying the interest to the bank. That's a whole new separate thing. I'll tell you guys about that in another podcast, but I just wanted to give you guys my plan and what I'm doing. And, that might be the end goal. That might be the finish line for me for this plan, but there's so many quarter miles before that has to happen. And creating this leadership platform for primarily myself and secondarily for you guys is part of that. So I would really appreciate the support. Again, I'm going to be coming out with a podcast and a YouTube type thing like this every week, maybe multiple times a week. I just need to stop working so much, but at least every week. And I want to bring up what I'm going through and give you guys an area to ask any questions that you might have in what I'm doing. And that's going to be in fitness, mind state, investments, navigating nursing, and things that I'm really into, and maybe I can learn a little bit more about what you're into. So it's all about self-love and also loving the community that you're in and giving part to it. And so that is my purpose. And yeah, I'll show you guys a journey on what I'm doing. If you guys want to reach me on Instagram, my IG handle is @nurse_Shelbo on Instagram, and DM me, ask me any questions you guys have, and follow me. All right, I'll see you later. Peace.